the Fans is the #1 sponsor in battle rap. My name is Frank White, and I probably contributed to some of your favorite battles. I mean, in the last 4 years, I donated $222,000 to battle rap for the culture. Check out We the Fans Global on Instagram for the full catalog of battles I sponsor. And follow We the Fans Global on YouTube to watch full battle breakdowns from a sponsor's perspective and a recommendation for what battles should be booked next. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and keep stepping into your greatness. We the Fans is for the culture.
Going on, Lane was popping.
I wasn't expecting to be back so soon, so I'm actually it's a pleasant surprise. You've had a collection of great amazing talent on your platform since the last time I was here, so I wasn't expecting the invitation this soon. So I'm glad I
Thank
could be
you. Hey,
back.
listen, this your house, man. You're a co-host, right? When you welcome anytime, you know what I'm saying? If I could do daily segments with you, I would. But thank you for coming back. Thank you for your time. I want to jump right into Outside Six. URL just announced his card going down January 24th. I want to get your thoughts on some of these battles. I know you know stats very well, so we can definitely chop it up about each battle. I guess we'll start at the bottom of the card.
Yeah.
So the first battle up is Justice versus Drugs. Where are we at with this battle? What's the street saying about Justice versus Drugs?
I like this battle
Mhm,
specifically because I kind of have an understanding of how drugs feel. I
mhm,
feel like he is not really fucking with the new talent. And
mm.
sometimes you need that kind of energy, like that kind of hazing energy for those type of battles. And truthfully, I feel like, the trajectory of drugs is kind of like in the in a weird space. I feel like he was at a really good spot the last time he was like really active, like 2022 on his last run before he battled Suge and Suge had his run right. He was dominating. I mean, he put it into Lou Castro's streak a little bit. The franchise made his return battle. He handled that as well too. Even him and Truffaut was a great one of my favorite Midnight Madness battles too. So he was actually cooking before he had to sit down and had the situation that he had. So I've always thought that Drugs was very talented. It's just a matter of him fine tuning a couple of things, whether it be the delivery, whether it be like the consistency in the material. Sometimes he's tried to sometimes the delivery doesn't mesh with the bar. Like he'll like deliver something as a haymaker when it's actually a setup. You know what I'm saying? So, but I honestly really do like this matchup. Injustice is one of the new guys, new talents. I didn't really talk about him as much in the last time I was here, but he's also one of the new talents that shows a lot of promise. I mean, liked him versus Lou Castro, liked him versus Hansel, another guy that I bigged up or whatever too. I think that this is a huge test for Justice, and I think this is the perfect time for this battle to happen. With Drugs coming back and with Justice, just having the battle with Appa as well too. Really like the battle. If I had to choose a winner, I'm going Drugs slight edge 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised if Justice wins this battle, just because I do feel like when Justice gets going, when he starts stringing haymakers together, it could be a long, tough night. But I do think Drugs is a person that also has great material and great energy as well too. And with this being a URL return, I think that he has plenty to say. So I'm gonna go Drugs 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if Justice wins the battle though.
Okay, listen, I think you hit a lot of dope points. I think I'm gonna go Justice 2-1, and here's the couple reasons why. One, he's rookie of the year. He's seen every type of test there is to see in 2025. From a battle with Shiesty Foe that was very street heavy to a battle with Wusa that was very punch heavy and relentlessly
Mhm.
punch heavy. And he was able to match with haymakers and do his thing as well. I think Justice has been prepping for this, even a match of wits like the one he had with Appa
Yeah.
where I think he did what he could, you know what I'm saying? I think consensus is Appa won, but what my point is that Justice has seen every type of battler, you know what I'm saying? And his conditioning is impeccable. He really takes his time, put the rounds together. I think that we're gonna see, and I think he understands what this battle means for him. This is also kind of his debut, aside from the card with Initiation 3 with his fellow classmates. This
Mhm.
is his debut as Justice, the brand, on the official URL card. And of course, I think he understands what's at stake. He has to prove himself here. He has to show the separation, why he's the only member of his class on this card. I think
Mhm.
also, um, stylistically, we're looking at Justice with these huge haymakers, with Drugs with a lot of really dope punchlines that lead to a haymaker. Um, Also, I think what's on Drugs side is creativity. Like
Yeah,
Drugs isn't afraid to take risks. When we seen him on iBattle against Low Supreme, he took a huge risk with the third round. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The
yeah,
whole Harry Potter theme. I'm interested to see what he. I think with a name like Justice, he has so much to do. We're looking at an action-packed battle, but I think that the grit that Justice has and just the he raps like it's all on the line every time, and I think it really is this time. And so,
mm,
and I think he understands that, and I think we're gonna see Justice edge the battle. But if Drugs wins this, I'm not surprised because Drugs is
yeah.
an incredible talent. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to see him back on URL. I feel like Drugs was the missing piece for a lot of the new talent because I think Drugs is somebody you got to go see when you're a new talent. Drugs is somebody that you gotta be able to stand in front of. He's very creative. He's up to date. You know what I mean? He knows how to put together current themes. He's creative. So I don't know. Justice is in for a fight, but I think that Justice is going to be able to edge the battle 2-1.
One thing I
So
can say about both of these guys is that like they always give 110%.
a hundred
Every
percent.
line, like every line, every bar, everything they do, they give 110%. So this is going to be very high octane, very high energy. I'm looking forward to the battle for sure.
Me too. Okay. So next up, we got a very interesting debut here. We've got Chef Trez versus Mad Flex. It's great to
Ooh,
even say that. Where are we
yeah,
at with this
man.
battle?
I really like this battle, man. Like I really do. You're talking about Mad Flex, one of the best pins in battle rap. I don't think he's put in that conversation enough. I think it's because he's not punch heavy or not really known for like consistently stringing along haymakers. But like if you really listen to the stuff that he's pinning, how he breaks down people, like his performance versus JC last year was a masterclass. You know, say what you will about the battle. I know some people still have JC winning, but I thought that, Matt Flex proved to a lot of people that even going against JC, who's also considered like a top five pin of all time, that he's not only able to be in the same wheelhouse, but he can beat and compete with those type of caliber MCs. And even with his battle against Jada Nightwing, which was one of the best battles of the year in 2023, like he consistently shows that when he goes against top caliber people, he rises his level. I think he's going to do the same against Chef Trez. The only thing is, though, is like I'm at a point now where I'm just not betting against Chef Trez. For the past 3 years, 4 years, Chef Trez has been a top five MC in battle rap. Like no,
Agreed.
like by measurable standards, and also like just by the intangibles. Like if you're going off of like rankings and whatnot, he's literally been like top five, top three. He'll probably be top five again this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
off of that,
Yeah.
and then just off of just the workload, his ability to give 110% in every battle, and him always having fresh material. Like one thing I'll say about Chef Trez, people gave him like gave pretty much said the notion is like his rebuttals is better than his material. But like if you really listen to this man rap, like he's one of the wittier guys in battle rap when it comes to like pinning shit together too. So I really like this matchup. I'm going Chef Trez 2-1 just off the strength of just me seeing Trez consistently, win these type of battles, even if it's like that one haymaker he gets at the end of the round, or a rebuttal that he puts, and then just his recent performance against Geechee Gotti. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going Chef Trez 2-1. I do think Matt Flex is going to take a round clear, and there may even be a situation where maybe a preferential battle. But I'm going Chef Trez 2-1. I think it's one of those things where like you can't really bet against Trez. He has so much that goes towards why he's going to win as opposed to why he's going to lose. So
Okay. Well, first and foremost, to me, it's great to see Matt Flex on the platform. I think Matt Flex is just one of those talents that's out there in the ether that is incredible and just needs a major platform, consistent push. His lyrical ability, his creativity, his confidence. If you've seen Matt Flex and JC, if you've seen Matt Flex and Holmesy, he's just got these battles that are just incredible. And
yeah,
and he's just one of those talents that like you're always rooting for, but you never get to see consistently in one place on a major platform. And I think URL, this is a great pick. Whoever the powers that be behind this move, great move. I think him and Chef Trez is a great matchup stylistically. I think it's a very dangerous start though for Matt Flex. Like Chef Trez is relentless. Chef Trez is creative. Chef Trez is poised. Chef Trez has on the spot rebuttals that will really take the steam out of your entire round. Um, I think starting with Chef Trez as your test on URL is insane. But I respect it. I think this is a great test for him, but I think that this is one that Matt Flex is not going to be able to win. I got Chef Trez 2-1. I do think Matt Flex is going to do phenomenal, but I don't see Chef Trez losing this battle at all. But I'm hyped for the battle though, and I think we're going to get some great material. I mean, what we've seen Chef Trez doing outside 5 being one of the best cards of 2025, along with Chef Trez performing the night before and putting on an incredible performance. And now you're talking about him having all these weeks of prep time. I'm scared. I'm scared. And this is regular for Trez. You know what I'm saying? Like Trez is just every time you book Trez, you know what you're getting. You're getting an incredible performance. And you're getting just a consistency that is probably only surpassed by Tay Rock. You know what I'm saying? So I got Chef Trez 2-1 comfortably, but I'm very happy for Matt Flex for being on the card, and I'm hyped to see how this battle goes.
Yeah,
Uh, I
salute to Matt
also
Flex for
I
the
also I also want to see how he translates at URL. That's something we don't talk about enough. Is translating on platforms. Like, what do you think Matt Flex is going to translate?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as time has progressed, I think that, the URL brand has been a little bit more inclusive when it comes to different styles. I feel like, RIP to him, but Pat Stay kind of opened the doors for like other like even though there's been other type of battles before. I mean, Real Deal came in 2012 with a different style and whatnot, but we know that there's like a prototype or a certain style that, is kind of, I guess, ingrained in URL. I feel like with the Anderson Burrises and with Real Deal consistently battling over there, and even with a couple other battlers that like kind of offer like a different wrinkle to the game, I think that he's going to be well received, honestly. So I wouldn't be, I'm not worried about his style translating on that stage, honestly.
Okay. All right. We shall see how it goes. This next matchup is interesting to say the least. Almost left field, but I think Anderson Burris has been doing a phenomenal job of building his own stock. Going on these different platforms, capitalizing on these unorthodox matchups. Arsenal the Rebel, my personal favorite of all time, versus Anderson Burris. The floor is yours.
This gives me an old fashioned King of the Dot type of feel. Like you could see this happening in like Battle of the Bunker or something like that. Just like a very extreme style clash. I like this battle because I feel like it's gonna force Arsenal to do something a little bit different. You're not just gonna get like disrespect and flow pockets. You're gonna get a little bit of creativity. You're gonna get a little bit of humor in there. And I think that Anderson Burris just being him is gonna force this to be a style clash. Like anytime, like it's a couple of battlers that because they're so different, it just changes the dynamic of every battle. So like every time they look at somebody, they're going to change their style because of the person they're going against. And I feel like Anderson has that mystique to him. In terms of a winner though, uh, it's a crazy style clash. I mean, to be fair, I can't name that many times Anderson has lost on URL. Like he probably lost like maybe once. Track record of URL is actually not bad.
Okay.
Like
You got him losing the Swave battle, or what battle you got him losing?
he won that battle actually.
Okay, so what you got him losing? One of the Crucible battles?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
One of the Crucible battles?
No, I actually thought he BJ too.
Okay, so which
It
one
was
got him losing?
I'm trying to remember. I'm usually good at this. He battled on one of the first installments of Outside. I forgot who he battled though, and I thought that was a battle he might have lost, but he kind of fought back. It'll come to me eventually, but
Okay.
but I say that to say that I feel like his track record in URL. Say what you will about his style or whatever. I mean, he's not just out flat out losing on URL. So And Arsenal has had a resurgence in his past couple of battles. I mean, he just
Agreed.
battled Quest McCody. We know the major upset he had against Jazz as well too.
Mhm.
And even though I had Eunice winning kind of clear, I thought he gave a really good performance and had like a really good round in the third round against Eunice too. So he's reinvigorated. So I'm going to edge. Hmm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, something's telling me that like he's gonna go way out the box, and I
Mhm.
feel like that's gonna work towards his favor.
Mhm.
I'm gonna edge Anderson by a smidge.
Ooh.
By a smidge. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal wins. I think Arsenal obviously is going. Arsenal has an edge when it comes to rapping ability, when it comes to aggression and creating. But I think that Anderson's advantage is him being unpredictable, being able to create
Mhm.
moments, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And sometimes you can counterbalance someone rapping really well with those moments and those other things that we talked about and other intangibles. So I'm going to go Anderson 2-1. Not surprised if Arsenal wins the battle, though, especially with how he's been performing lately. So,
I agree. I think Ars has been doing his thing. I think the Jazz battle got swept under the rug a little bit, but we all collectively saw Arsenal beat Jazz. I personally had him beating Vixen, but consensus is saying that Vixen won. Also, I think he did a great job with Sheed. I think we got a good Ars with Sheed, even though it was some turbulence material wise. It was some good material he presented. I think Arson and Quest, obviously. I think we're seeing a new wave of Arsenal. I agree, but I think what can't be overstated is Anderson Burris' creativity. I watched him battle an elderly woman, and it was extremely entertaining. God bless her. I can't remember her last name right now, but God bless that lady. I watched him battle with a Rubik's Cube in hand, and what he did with the Rubik's Cube was super entertaining as well. But one thing, aside from the jokes and the entertainment, and also I think I had him beating Danny as well, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless of anything, Anderson Burris be rapping. If you're listening to what he's saying, he's rapping. The wittiness and the bars and are intertwined, so it's easy to get distracted by the entertainment factor. But he's rapping, and he knows when to rap, and when to like lean on the jokes or when to lean on the bars. And I think he understands it with this Arsenal battle. He's probably going to diffuse Arsenal's disrespect with the jokes. And I feel like Arsenal himself has kind of been uh, doing a little less of disrespect and more bar
yeah,
heavy. And
yeah.
so I think what's going to happen is we're going to get a bar heavy Arsenal. We're going to get a maybe a bar heavy Anderson Burris as well. And it's just going to be on who has the stronger approach. Because I know that Anderson Burris can diffuse a lot of what Arsenal does with jokes, but if Ars is not joking and he's in there barring you up, you're gonna have to bar back. And I think Anderson has the capability of barring back. I'm never going against my GOAT, obviously, so I'm gonna say Ars 2-1, but I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised if Anderson pulls off the victory because Anderson is incredibly talented. I think that it's been overdue for him to get these kinds of looks. I would love to see him on more URL cards consistently because his talent, it's refreshing,
Mhm.
in an age where everyone is doing their best rum nitty or twerk impression, it's just refreshing. And Anderson Burris has a lot to learn from clashes like this. So this is a good matchup for him. It did seem like it came out of nowhere, but it's a good style clash. I'm hyped to see how the battle goes. Edge Arsenal 2-1.
Now, the way you was breaking it down, I thought you was gonna go Anderson Burris, but
Nah, I can't. That's my goat, man. He's the
I
reason I watch
understand.
battle rap.
I
I
feel
think we're
that.
all allowed to be biased. You know what I mean? Every now and again. Um, this next one, I'm not gonna lie, I've never thought of this matchup, but I'm very happy it's booked. I'm gonna be honest, and I think that this young man has deserved a look like this for some time. It's just I never thought it would be this person. Rum Nitty versus Kid
Yeah,
Chaos. Where are
yeah,
we at with it?
yeah. I like this battle. If Rum Nitty is gonna go on this last two-rock, quote unquote,
Hmm.
it's gonna be a mixture of giving shots plus taking heavy names. Why not take Kid Chaos? I'm not gonna lie. Kid Chaos is a guy I feel like is in this weird spot where talent-wise, he has a top-tier talent,
Hmm.
but he can't. I wouldn't say can't, because I feel like in battle rap, I feel like in battle rap, there's a lot of late bloomers, people that became top tier much later than we thought they were.
Hmm.
But for some reason, he's had a hard time breaking the ceiling. Like I feel like he's had a couple times where he show you flashes, like the first round for Real Sick, the battle with Chilla Jones. I thought was dope. the first round for chess, the battle he had with She. Like, there's times I'm looking at him and I'm like, if he can just mold that. And I interviewed him before. His main thing has been not being motivated, especially when it comes to like the creativity of things, because sometimes he goes so far outside the box that people aren't willing to see the nuances that he's, implementing. So it kind of makes him frustrated. I feel like in this battle, particularly though, he can kind of go back to some of the things that kind of motivate him with the creativity, with the concepts that he does and whatnot. Like, I feel like the fact that he can like play with the alien concept is already kind of like cool to me. You know what I'm saying? Because but I really like this battle. I think bar for bar wise, this is probably going to be the best battle on the card. When you read it, you know what I'm saying, and when you transcribe everything, this probably be the best battle on the card. Really like this battle. I will say though, uh, when I look at how Kid Chaos usually lose battles, is usually to people that are like have like a rapid punching style. Because like when you talk about material, he always has great material, but I think that it's such a stark contrast. Whereas like he's building, 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 and then he'll get to something, and then someone's just constantly landing. It just, it's just a weird. It's a bad contrast. Usually a bad style matchup for him. Like I remember him battling Chef Trez, and I'm like, yo, Kid Chaos is spitting, but Trez is landing every one. You know what I'm saying? or like even him versus Danny Myers. I'm like, yo, he actually is giving you a really dope concept from Act 1, Act 2. But Danny Myers is spazzing right now. You know what I'm saying? And another person that can do that is probably the epitome of being able to spaz every line is Rum Nitty, right? So I got Rum Nitty 2-1. I do think that Kid Chaos, with the added motivation and with this being one of the biggest plays he's had in quite some time, is going to be on his A game. But I do got Rum Nitty 2-1 though. It's very hard for that style that Kid Chaos has to kind of counterbalance what Nitty's going to bring. But I will say this though. Another thing that got swept under the rug is Kid Chaos did beat T-Top last year.
I was just gonna talk about that.
He did
That
beat
was gonna be
T-Top
my
last year.
opening point.
And for every time I feel like it's like, I wouldn't say over, but for every time I think that like, you know what, he just might be pigeonholed to a certain area, he ends up getting a surprise win. Because I remember him beating Loso very clearly, and that got swept under the rug too. So
Exactly.
so let's not assume that this is a shoe-in, you know what I'm saying? And especially in a situation where there's more motivation on Kid Chaos side versus Rum Nitty side. But I got Rum Nitty 2-1 though. In a very, very great battle.
I agree with you 100%. I also have Rum Nitty 2-1. However, Kid Chaos is a competitor.
Yeah.
Kid Chaos is someone who understands when an opportunity is before him and he has to adjust. Case in point, Kid Chaos versus T-Top. We saw an adjustment to his style by incorporating humor. I think it was the second round, I believe, where he was just all fat jokes. You know what I'm saying? And that's so different from what I'd expect from Kid Chaos, who is more lyrical and more of a character assassination style, and maybe not so much that, but more lyrical and more layered in the material. He went for straight jokes. So being able to be that self-aware to make those adjustments for T-Top, I see where he understands he has to make those adjustments with Rum Nitty, because essentially what he has to do in the time span that it takes him to set up what could be his version of a haymaker, Nitty has already landed like 2 or 3, so he has to condense that time span and also keep up with the rate and creativity that Rum Nitty has. And that's very difficult to do. We watched on the Philadelphia card Rum Nitty versus Loso, and I think that was a masterclass in Rum Nitty neutralizing an opponent's skill set. Now, Loso is also someone who raps and actually has a powerful delivery, but Nitty neutralized all of that with incredible haymakers that were super creative and relentless. And I think that going into this battle, Kid Chaos is going to have to study that, because Rum Nitty has Kid and has Chaos. He's already up on you with those 2 words. What Rum Nitty can do with each of those words is going to be insane. By the time we're recovering from the Kid flips, we're going to have to recover from the Chaos flips, and then whatever he wants to address directly with you, you're getting attacked from all angles in this battle. And I hope Kid Chaos understands that he's going to have to find a way to deliver the material and get to it quicker. Is the
Yeah.
best way I could put it. You're gonna have to get to it quicker. I think he did a great job of adjusting it with that with the Klutz battle. I recently rewatched him in Klutz. I love that battle. I think that was a great example of Kid Chaos understanding the adjustments that need to be made. But this is Rum Nitty. He's not called the alien for no reason. And there's a very good chance that if he
You
accepted
mean the
this
chess
battle,
battle? You mean the chess battle, not the
no,
clutch
no, I
battle?
mean that was a good battle. I did like the chess battle, but if you watch him in Klutz, I thought he did pretty good. And then that Klutz battle, I don't know if you
Okay.
remember him in Klutz. That was I'm sorry, the Sheed battle. Sheed battle.
That's why I was very confused. I was like,
Sheed,
wait,
not Klutz.
no, the
My
sheet,
bad.
no, the sheet
In the
battle,
Sheed
absolutely.
battle. In the Sheed battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, where Klutz, where Chaos was able to make the adjustments for Sheed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in the Sheed battle. And that was a Sheed battle with you got McDonald's money.
Yeah. The traffic 4.
Yep. And they
Traffic
so
5. Traffic 5. Traffic 5. It was in Phoenix.
I'm hoping that Kid Chaos is able to make those adjustments that are necessary, but I fear that Rum Nitty, if he's accepted this battle, there's a good chance he already knows exactly what he needs to do to beat you. And we've seen Rum Nitty battle Calico, Loso, Jada Nightwing. Is just Nitty's also on the run right now too. So I really don't know. I don't know what Kid Chaos is gonna have to do. I don't know what movies he's gonna have to watch and break down to get the necessary tools to win this battle. But I hope he pulls through. But if my money is on Rum Nitty 2-1.
Yeah. I mean, again, I really do like this battle though. This is one of those battles where like when you transcribe everything, it's going to be incredible. And
100%.
And shout out to Kid Chaos making another, because like he hasn't really been battling this much. He's really only been doing once or twice a year. But if he's gonna battle at this rate, why not put him against like killers? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree. And this is a good look for him, to be honest, because often he's, as you said, his style is sometimes pigeonholed. Excuse me. So oftentimes he's getting like these lyrical miracle battles, and it's like, damn, we know you can do more, And so this is the perfect opportunity to showcase what he can do. And although I did enjoy his T-top performance and I had him winning, I think this right here is the real test.
yeah.
With that said, we go on to Cortez versus Hansel. Now, this is interesting for a couple reasons, but I want to get your thoughts on Cortez versus Hansel.
I'm here for this battle. I love this battle. Shout out to you for hosting the face off. It was just very dope to see like real animosity, competitive nature, whatnot. And honestly, I feel like Cortez always finds himself in these type of matchups where like it's always like somebody or someone downplaying his accomplishments or downplaying his skill set. Because Hansel's really downplaying his skill set, all right. So like he just really doesn't think that he's that nice. And I was talking to a couple people before. I want to say it's more than 2026. So like 9 or 8 years ago, Ryder was doing the same thing, and I remember like that whole build up into the Ryder battle, or whatever. One thing I'll say about Cortez is that a pissed off Cortez is dangerous. Like especially in this current form, I feel like Cortez has actually been doing his best rapping he's done in the past like 7 or 8 years. This is a dangerous matchup for Hansel, but I still got Hansel 2-1 though. I still got Hansel 2-1 because I feel like the same way that people are kind of downplay what Cortez does. I feel like Hansel understands that if he's gonna talk this much, he has to win this battle, especially when like he is not only battling like a guy that's already established and a dangerous competitor, but he's also battling the notion that he's kind of in the back of the line. You got to think when he came into the top 6, right? It was Souffleur, it was Foots, it was Klutz. And then, like, it seemed like he never really got his turn as the top guy. Like, the only time it seemed like he was going to get his turn was when he battled Eunice, right? And that was a great battle. But then shortly after that, it was okay, like, Eunice and Klutz happened. And then this happens. And then even when he battled, Ease, I thought he was going to win that battle, and Ease ended up being the talk of the night amongst the new guys, right? I feel like that's why out of all the guys, he has the biggest chip on his shoulder, because I feel like he kind of thinks that like he always gets overshadowed, even when he's consistently putting on great performances. And I feel like the best way for him to showcase, where he ranks amongst like the new guys is for him to take the heads of one of the guys that's known to neutralize new guys. So with that, man, I'm going Hansel 2-1,
Mhm.
but this could get ugly really fast if Hansel approaches this battle incorrectly. Like I will say that it can get ugly really, really fast, but I don't think he's going to approach his battle incorrectly. I think one thing that Hansel has over Cortez right now, is the ability to land haymakers consistently.
Mhm.
Um, One thing that I would say, and I'm not a battler, but one thing I would say or try to sway away from
Mhm.
is trying to downplay the accomplishments in a battling form, because you kind of just look crazy talking about someone's accomplishments when you don't really measure up with the same
Yeah.
amount of accolades as them.
Yeah.
And it may fall on deaf ears, but if you go in
Mhm.
there strictly rapping,
Mhm.
hey, I got Hansel 2-1.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm gonna be honest with Hansel. I remember I want to say like 2021 or something like that, attending Geechee and Ward 2. And I
Shastafa.
had yes, right. I had missed the battle because I showed up a little late, but the entire night, everyone kept telling me, "You got to check out this kid Hansel. He's the West Coast Golden Child." And so when they told me that, I started doing my research and I kind of followed his trajectory. I got the chance to work with him on him versus Eunice. I got the chance to work with him versus Justice. I got the chance to, and now this time where I plan on putting some money on the floor for this battle with Cortez. And Hansel is interesting because he won against Eunice, and Eunice is arguably the best new talent out. I had him beating Dice as well, a judged
Mhm.
win at that. It was a nasty win, but he got the win. I also had him beating a very good Ace Amin as well. So these are people who are excellent battlers. Now, pen wise and punch wise, these guys are very, very good. And Hansel always finds a way.
Mhm.
And he lost the justice battle, but I personally had him winning that battle. But we respect the judges. But he's had great performances back to back to back. The Yogi, the Dollar Bill, Hansel's just he's been on a run, and it just seems to me like he never really gets the full endorsement of the culture. Like amongst his peers and writers, he went to iBattle and respectfully cleared Nakim, their champion. You know what I'm saying? And that was his debut on iBattle. That means something. You know, a lot of people downplay iBattle, but beating Nakim in the fashion that he did, that means something. And Hansel has continuously showed up in these under pressure situations and delivered. Um, so, with all of that said, there has also been times when he didn't deliver.
Yeah.
When he battled Bill Collector, I think that was a very nasty loss. And he
Bill
talks
was, but
about it.
Bill was on fire though.
I
Like
hear you, but
that would have been a hard thing for
that was
anyone to.
his.
That's
Unfortunately,
true.
he ran into a tough bill collector, but that was the moment he was supposed to
That's
show the
true.
separation. His region hails him as the golden child, but the
Yeah.
culture hasn't yet. And
Yeah.
to make that transition, he has to get these clear wins. And if you lost to a very good bill collector, if you run into a very good Cortez, the same thing can happen. We're not talking. I know people love to downplay Cortez
Yeah.
in copying the promo style that Sue Surf had for him, but they don't understand that that's promo. The reason Surf took the battle is because he respects him. We're talking about a guy who Cortez versus B Dot, Cortez versus Hollow Hand. Cortez
What
was the
he
first person I ever seen beat Disaster. Like
what he
Cortez
did to
has
what he did to Prez Mafia. People
with
forget
the
about that.
Cortez versus Prez, the
Yeah.
Uzis and I love that battle, and it's not spoken about enough. Even the two losses to Head Ice, where I thought he got robbed twice.
Yeah.
Like Cortez has some great performances. People don't know that Cortez beat New Jersey Twerk. Like there's when the pressure is on, Cortez has delivered more often than not. And I got a chance to work with Cortez before. I worked with Cortez to battle King, and I think Cortez beat King. So, yes, you can say that he lost the Klutz, which I respect, but Cortez understands pressure. Cortez has delivered on multiple occasions. Cortez has the experience. Cortez also has a personal gripe with the way Hansel carries himself, and
Yeah.
I don't think that face off did Hansel justice either. Did Hansel justice because it further cemented the way that Hansel was down talking Cortez. I personally think Hansel put himself at a disadvantage as far as like going into the battle, because now you have to do the insurmountable. You have to like clear Cortez because you're saying he's trash. You're talking to him like he hasn't done anything. When if we put both y'all resumes up, Cortez's resume is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So now you're putting yourself in a position where you almost have to overwin to get the win.
Mhm.
And it's money on the floor, so it's going to be judged, and you're going to have to convince his peers, because it's not like we're going to have a bunch of newcomers judging. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be Justice and Wusa and Eunice and these people judging. It's going to be peers that have watched Cortez do this for years. And then
Yeah.
also, even if you pick non-battlers, everyone that you pick to judge this battle are people who've seen Cortez deliver for years. So
Mhm.
you're going up against, essentially, you're fighting Cortez, you're fighting the judges, and now you have the added fight of public perception. If you go through the comments, everybody's got Cortez winning. A majority of people got Cortez winning. And I don't think Hansel realizes that not as many people as he thinks are in tune with him. Like,
Mhm.
those of us who are in tune with the culture heavily, we're tapped in. But there are the casual watchers who still don't know who Hansel is and don't know the significance that he means to his region. So he's making the battle tougher for himself. And for all of those reasons, I think Cortez is gonna win 2-1 edge. I don't know. I'm rooting for Hansel to win. I love an underdog story, and I also want to see Hansel start accumulating clear wins um, against the vets, because that's the thing that's going to solidify you as a newcomer. With your peers is dope. That gets you respect, but the solidifying is these moments where you beat people with extensive resumes like Cortez. So you got to clear Cortez, and especially the way you're talking about Cortez, you're going to have to clear Cortez. So I think Hansel is in for a very difficult fight. I think Cortez is going to win 2-1. And Cortez has had a stellar year. Hansel's had a stellar year. So they're both primed to be at their best. And I think that when it comes down to that, Cortez might got it.
Two things. First thing,
Mhm.
who'd you have winning between Hansel and Shotgun Suge?
I had Hansel winning. The asterisk that I have to put on that win
The
is
time?
Hansel obviously rapped a little
Yeah.
longer than normal, but I will say Hansel's material was phenomenal. He also has one of my favorite Shotgun Suge slogan flips when he tells him, "What's your life like?" Man, the obituary got all that shit. I
Yeah.
love that line. I love that. So I thought Hansel won, but there's the asterisk of you might have rapped a bit too long.
Another thing I would say, just to shoot a little bit of Bill Hansel's side, is that like we do ask the new guys to promo. Now, granted, there's a
Mhm,
way to promo, there's a way to
mhm,
pop your shit and whatnot, right?
mhm.
But I do appreciate the fact that he's bought into promoing and talking shit and kind of
Me
like
too.
betting on himself, especially with the money on the floor situation.
Which is
Ano-
incredible because he's had a lot of them.
Another thing I would say is that like as much as Cortez is beating up on new guys,
Mhm.
he's been prone to lose to a couple new guys as well too. I think of the
Yep.
Swervo. I think of the Swervo battle.
Servo,
Loki.
clutch. Yep.
I Loki had him losing to Ryder too, even with that being a grudge match as well too. I Loki had him losing
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I think I had Ryder first and third in that battle. So
Okay.
he's not squeaky clean against the new guys. And even the King battle, I don't feel like he clearly beat King. I mean, I know people got Cortez win. I think that's like a 60-40 split
Mhm,
of Cortez way, but I don't think that was like a
mhm,
squeaky clean win. But
mhm,
nonetheless, I think that the reason why I can comfortably, I don't want to say comfortably, but I feel like this is like a toss up. But the reason why I can like kind of be okay with choosing Hansel is because I know in my heart of hearts, a motivated Hansel can at least compete with the Cortez that has been showing up today, in my
mhm,
opinion. Because like you would
mhm,
say Cortez's best performance last year was the King battle.
mhm.
What would you say
I would
was
say,
Hansel?
I would say that. I also say his ill will performance was pretty good too. Um, and I think he
I
also
liked him versus
battled.
Reed a lot too. I thought he was very dope
Yeah. Oh yeah,
versus.
he was wild against Reed. Definitely wild against Reed. I thought he did good against Payne as well. So Cortez got some joints.
What would you say was Hansel's best performance last year?
Whew. Even though he lost, I feel like that Justice battle was some of his best material. You could argue his ace battle. You could, it's a few arguments, but I thought he did great against Justice.
I'm looking forward to the battle. I think
Me too.
this is going to be really, really. I think it's going to be controversial too.
Me too.
Remember the last time Cortez had a judge battle, people didn't agree.
Hey,
I'm just
a
saying.
lot of people say somebody got robbed in that
So
one.
I'm excited to see what the outcome
We gonna
is.
see. We gonna see. I'm hyped for it too. Okay, this next one. I promised myself I was gonna be honest about all of these battles, so I'm gonna be honest, but I'm gonna let you go first. T Top versus Marv One. I'm gonna take your time.
No, here's my thing. I like Marv being on this card.
Me too.
I honestly think T Top needs to take a rest. I think when I really think about it, T Top is a battler that used to battle 3 to 4 times a year. And I
Mhm,
think that fits him with the style that he has.
mhm,
Um Now I know in 2024 he had a good year where he battled like I want to say 10 plus times and it worked out for him.
mhm,
But you can tell like the consistent battling is starting to mess with his quality a little bit when it comes to
mhm,
preparation. Like this is probably the most choke prone I've seen T Top in his
mhm,
entire career, and it's partially because he's battling a lot, and it's also partially because he has other outside ventures, whether it be Haymaker, whether it be Straight Drop Media, running a league and whatnot. He's a very
mhm.
busy man.
Very.
Um, I just think that this battle has the makings of being um not good, if I just for lack of a better term, and
Mhm,
not because of Marv, because I feel like Marv always finds himself in a position where he has a solid performance, but because his opponent is like so like under par,
mhm,
it just kind of takes away from what he does. And on top of
mhm,
that, I've noticed that Marv is a person that feeds off of like the energy his opponent gives. So if his opponent turns up, he turns up too. And
mhm,
sometimes when his opponent is not really like, Marv has a very light laid back style. So sometimes like if his opponent is not really fighting, he just goes through his material and that's
mhm,
that. You know what I'm saying? So
mhm.
this battle can be very, very lukewarm very quickly, especially if T Top comes out the gate chuckling, pointing at somebody, not really remembering his material. This could be a very terrible battle. So, but all that being said, I gotta go Marv 2-1. I gotta go
Wow.
Marv 2-1 just
Mhm.
because, like, proper preparation prevents poor performance, man. I feel like you rarely like Marv. Sometimes he'll kind of stumble here and there, but ultimately he's been a little bit more clean than T Top as of late. Um, and yeah, I got Marv 2-1.
You know what's interesting to me about Marv is I love his slogan "First Ballot." I love that, and rightfully so because Marv has been in the game for quite some time.
Yeah,
Marv has some incredible accolades. Um, Marv,
Mhm.
to me, is one of those people who is very consistent, but sometimes it's not the highlight of the event, right? Like he'll have those battles where if his opponent trips up and doesn't do well, Marv secures the win. But it's been a while since we've had a card where Marv was the standout performer of that card that I can think of, right? I do remember, I think the last time I remember watching a Marv performance where I was like, okay, this is this is
I
one of
would
my
say
favorites.
I would say
Him
Holmesy.
Holmesy or him and Ace. I really loved him and
Yeah,
Ace, you know? I think those were part times when I was like, okay, he's reminding the world who he is. Marv has an arsenal. Marv can really, when he wants to, he can talk to his opponent in a way.
yeah.
I had him winning the Arsenal battle in I think it was in Detroit. But
That was
it's just
TB. That was TBL.
BNB, was it BNBL or TBL? It's TBL. Was it TBL or
It was
BNBL?
TBL Apollo. That was a very big card. So it's okay if you don't remember it. That was a
Okay,
huge.
yeah, it was like 30 battles on there, but
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
remember Marv securing the win. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so what I'm hoping to see from Marv is kind of a return to form and reminding people why he's the legend that he is. He commands tremendous respect where he's from. His longevity is unquestionable. His consistency as well, because Marv is going to give you Marv every time you book him. Um, but he's going up against somebody who I think is experiencing battler fatigue and is in denial
Yes.
about that fatigue. I watched T Top lose to J2. I watched T Top lose to Wusa. I watched T Top lose to Kid Slade. T-Top did win the Miss Hustle battle in the grand fashion, but T-Top shouldn't have lost a lot of those battles. Kid Chaos, another one he lost. So it's like T-Top, I'd agree, should sit down for a little bit. Even a couple months is fine, you know. And him and Swave, like that was a interesting battle to say the least. So it's just like with T-Top, it's like chill for a second, you know what I'm saying? And jumping right back into the next outside card is, in my opinion, not the best move. But with T-Top, you also never know. Because he could have some personal motivation in this and turn around and give us a phenomenal T-Top. He may have so much to say to Marv that we may not know. And in the battle, you're pleasantly surprised. So even though I do think he has battle rapper fatigue, I think he has the capabilities of winning. I think that if he's motivated to win, and one thing that's consistent with T-Top is when he perceives the opponent as a big name and a big deal to his legacy, he shows up. It's when it's these rookies or mid-tier battlers that he doesn't do his best. So if this Marv battle means something to him, we could be getting a phenomenal T-Top. But otherwise, I think Marv is gonna comfortably get that win. So I'm gonna say Marv 2-1, but T-Top is very capable of winning this.
Yeah, as simple as that. And my thing is like we have a whole other resurgence of him and Mook being talked about again. I feel like it would be the perfect time for you to just kind of, I don't know, camp out, wait a little bit, see if like the Mook battle can get booked. Because my thing is like, say what you will about Murder Mook, everybody's gonna have to. Everybody like is gonna take that battle 100% serious, right? So if you are gonna take that battle, why not sit out for a little bit? Because a lot of people think that being battle tested just means battling 100% or battling like every couple of weeks or every month. No, being battle tested is just making sure that the pin is hot. You don't have to battle like every card or every other card. You can battle 4 times out the year and still be battle tested. You know what I'm saying? So, I for sure want him to sit, especially if like him and Mook does gain the traction that I think is going to gain. So,
Okay. Well, he's here now. We're gonna see how the battle goes.
yeah.
But I also want to see T-Top and Murder Mook as well. I think that's gonna be interesting. And it seems to me like Mook is the pursuer of the battle. And I don't think that happens too often. And I think that there's a reason Mook wants that battle. And I also think it'll do great for T-Top in terms of legacy to have a Murder Mook battle. There's not too many people walk around that can do that. And him being considered the unofficial king of the South, or one of the kings of the South, if you will, I think legacy-wise, it makes so much sense for him and Mook to happen. And if you're gonna battle Mook anytime soon, you should probably sit down for a little bit.
And
But
truthfully, he doesn't really have like, I mean, outside of maybe Arsenal,
mhm,
I can't really name that many God tiers he has on his resume.
yeah, yeah.
So again, this is he needs to sit.
He should chill. He should chill. And there's also talks of him and Verb, which I don't mind either. But
Yeah.
regardless of who he takes, he should take a second,
Yeah.
But we're here now. We're gonna see what he does. As I said, he might have different motivation because it's not a matchup that, there was no backstory. So it may be a personal motivation that he has, and we get a phenomenal T-Top. It could also be one where he chuckles his way through the battle and Marv scoops up the win. So we'll see how it goes. Which brings us to our final battle on the card. This one is so overdue. For those of us that have followed Mike P's journey, we are so
Yeah.
happy for him. We know how much this battle means to him and to us as Mike P fans. We know that we are in for an eventful battle. We are in for a very, very good battle. I also want to say that this is probably one of Mike P's most dangerous battles because Tay Rock has mastered the art of appearing, or not even appearing. Tay Rock has mastered the art of having the dominant performance regardless of what his opponent is doing. We got a very good Lou Castro against Tay Rock, and Lou Castro, he threw everything but the kitchen sink at Tay Rock. Tay Rock still won.
Didn't matter.
We got a decent Real Sick. We got a good Real Sick, and still Tay Rock won clear. There's just something to be said. We got Fonz performed
Nah,
on
Fonz had
Summer
him.
Madness. Fonz gave us one of his best second rounds of all time. And yet and still, we have Tay Rock the victor. So it just seems to me like I'm happy that Mike P is back on URL. I have Mike P winning against Eunice. I have Mike P putting up a very, very good fight, but I just don't see what he can do with Tay Rock. Tay Rock is just unstoppable. He's poised to be the Cody again. A Ward may get it though, because I think one A and one B is Tay Rock and A Ward right now. You could also say Loso, but I think it's either Ward or Rock for me personally. But with all of that said, Mike got to do everything in this battle. He's got to do everything. And I hope he does. But I think that even if he does everything, we're going to get a very good Mike P who wins one round and Tay Rock who wins the other 2 rounds pretty clear. So I got 2-1 Tay Rock clear. Floor is yours.
Mike is going to have to do a lot to win this battle. The thing about Mike P that I find very interesting is when he wins, he wins. Like it's like no discussion. That's why the Eunice battle was very interesting because I feel like that battle was competitive to me. Like I know some people got Eunice winning, some people got Mike P. I slightly edged Mike P in that battle, but that's very rare because usually when Mike P wins, it's clear. It's nothing to discuss. But then on the flip side, when he loses, it's very rare that it's like a debatable battle. It's usually like it's pretty clear. So like there's sometimes no in between here. Mike P is going to have to do what brought him to the dance. That's the um, aggression, the projection, the animation, creating moments, and then specifically the rap pockets. Especially something that's something that Tay Rock has emphasized a lot recently is the flow pockets and rap pockets that he gets into the MG mode that he coined that phrase. Him and Surf did. Mike P has to get into that bag for sure. Like the rap patterns, the heavy buildups, and Mike P is a momentum rapper, so everything that's built up into like the last line means something. Like that's the type of the rapper he is. He has to get into that pocket, and I think that with him understanding that, like this is something he's wanted since 2017. If we're being specific, because I think I think how it went was Mike P, after beating Twerk on Gnome, was slated to be on SM against Cortez, but he turned down the SM battle to get a Tay Rock battle. But the Tay Rock battle never happened. That's how you end up getting Twerk and Cortez instead of Mike P and Cortez. So there's been multiple times where Mike P has been slated to have a major opportunity and it hasn't happened. This is one of those opportunities you can't mess up. So I got Rock 2-1. But I think the very best Mike P could pull this off.
I agree.
I think the very best. And then when I look at like ways of being Tay Rock, it's usually like having to be high octane and explosive, and I feel like Mike P can do that. Because when I look at like how Tay Rock wins these battles, as you mentioned, he's very consistent, right? He may have a round that like blows you out of the water, and then his second and third just kind of maintains that like that momentum, right? Sometimes he doesn't give you like 2 crazy rounds. Sometimes he gives you 1 crazy round, a good round, and a good round. Some people overload like one of their rounds and they don't have enough to keep up. If Mike P can find that balance between having high octane in one of his rounds, being able to compete with another one, and then finding a way to like kind of be strategic and maneuver through another round, he could pull this battle off. Because one thing I'll say about Tay Rock too is Tay Rock is not heavily reliant on angles. He's not heavily reliant on counter writing, and he's not heavily reliant on out strategizing his opponent. He's going to just beat you straight up.
Yeah.
Right. And that's and honestly, and it's crazy because it's like, if you really think about it, usually the battlers that we deem the GOATs, and I do consider Tay Rock one of the best battlers of all time. Usually those particular battlers are people that are like heavy with the strategy, but he's one of the guys that just beats you straight up, which is kind of impressive. Yeah. So with all that being said, with Mike P also being a student of the game, I think he's probably studied Tay Rock for plenty of years at this point, right? I do feel like there's a route where he could win. It's just a matter of the execution, though. It's very different when you stand in front of the opponent. So I'm going Rock 2-1, but I'm not surprised if like a couple weeks later we're talking about Mike P with a 2-1 edge. I'm not.
I agree. I just don't see how Mike wins this battle, because for me it's like I watched Tay Rock and Jada Nightwing, and
Yeah,
Jada Nightwing had such dense and layered material. I'm talking cinder blocks of raps,
yeah,
and Tay Rock found a way through it. And we're just watching this happen over and over and over and over, and it's just like it almost looks like there's nothing you can do to win, you know? And it's just with Mike, I'm gonna need like the Mike P. I'm gonna need like the Mike that battled Daylight. I'm gonna need the second round that battled Danny. I'm gonna need uh, uh, a risk in the third.
he's gonna have to
That
talk. He's gonna have to do a little bit of talk to him.
like
Like
a
that's
risk that he, yeah,
yeah,
like a risk in the third, and then in the third it's got to be like the risk he took with Suge, but it's got to work, it's got to
yeah,
land. So you need like the explosiveness from your Daylight battle in the first, your angle punch heavy for Danny, and then you need a creative risk in the third that you damn near have to win all 3 rounds for the people to say
yeah,
you got it 2-1,
yeah.
you know. And it's just like, Mike, can you do all of that? Like that is, you have the tools, but
Mhm.
can you maintain all of that? And can you do that while getting Mike flipped to hell, police flips to hell, uh, uh, just relentless raps, like
And
3 billion words per round just being thrown at you. Can you do all of that while all of that is happening with someone who has mastered voice projection, who has mastered
crowd
fluidity,
participation.
crowd participation, fluidity in the flow? Like Rock's rounds flow so fluid. The energy that Rock has, the aggression, he's gonna match your aggression. Mike is aggressive too, but you're up against somebody who's aggressive too. So it's like you're going against Drago, man. What are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And are you? This is a matter of endurance for Mike. You're gonna have
Mhm.
to be able to keep up the energy all 3 rounds. You're gonna
Yeah,
have to attack your opponent from different angles all 3 rounds. You're gonna have to rap, breath control on the lowest of keys. Sometimes Mike struggles with breath control near the ends of, and like
hmm
maybe breath control is not the right way to say it, but like energy, maybe like the fatigue level
yeah.
starts to show
Because
by the
he'll
third.
he'll hit a pattern where like you can tell it took a lot out of him, and then he
It
has to
took a lot,
reset.
right?
Yeah,
And it's like now all of a sudden it's like a slow flow, slow build up because he's trying to get his breathing together. None of that can happen in this battle for him to win. You got to really take a deep breath at round one and exhale at round three. Like it's got to be like that. And then one thing that with Tay Rock as well is you cannot let him get momentum. If you give, and this is just a small little tidbit, but when Rock finishes his rounds, if you not starting your round right when he says his last word, you're giving the audience a chance for the material to settle. You're giving a chance for people to still be thinking about his material before you start your round, and possibly while you're rapping your round. So the
hmm
first few bars of your rounds aren't even hitting like they're supposed to because we're still digesting everything Rock said. You have to be pause on them. You got to be on them, and it's got to be fight fire with fire, you know. Luke
yeah,
Castro had a great example of that, but unfortunately the material wasn't potent enough. But
hmm
but his approach in terms of like being relentless and fighting with firepower was correct. But Mike has that material. So if you can take Luke Castro's energy and your material, you might got a chance at losing 2-1.
you are you are crazy.
I'm
Nah,
gonna keep
but
it tall.
nah, but
Because
here's
Tay
here's
Rock
the
is
thing
just
though.
looking incredible. Like,
Nah,
it is what it is.
he's looking great, man. I'll say this though. I feel like again, like when you go against Tay Rock, you gotta study. It's kind of like when you're going against like defending champions in the Super Bowl, right? You got to study
Mm-hmm.
what schemes worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously you go against the Kansas City Chief, you know you got to get Patrick Mahomes like off his square by blitzing the middle. When you go against Tom Brady, kind of the same thing. You got to blitz the middle. Like you have to watch the battles where it seemed like Tay Rock struggled or Tay Rock was
Mm-hmm.
in dangerous waters. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would watch him versus Trez. I would watch him
Mm-hmm.
versus Jazz last year. I
Mm-hmm.
would even watch like him versus Av, which is like a debatable battle. But I would
Yeah.
even watch that to kind of like, okay, what are they doing to kind of make this battle this close? Or what are they doing to kind of make this, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, what are
Yeah.
ways I can utilize my style and
Yeah.
maximize my style to make this battle favorable for me? And
Yeah.
I think that's what Mike P is doing. Like I said, he's a student of the game, and with him being someone who has his own channel, has his own podcast, and like being more in the analytical bag, I do feel like he's well prepped for this battle. But yeah, it's one of those things where like it's very hard to go against Tay Rock, especially when he's constantly going against the best versions of people and somehow, some way, like finding himself in the winning end. Like it reminds me of when Kurt. You don't watch wrestling, so I can't even use that
Nah,
now.
but I do
I'm
know
gonna give
Tay
this.
Rock is the tribal chief.
I'm,
I do
I'm
know
gonna give.
that.
I'm gonna give a wrestling reference out here. It
Okay.
reminds me of when Kurt Angle had his first run, and it's like he's going against all these other elites, whether it's Triple H, whether it's The Rock, Undertaker. One time he was in Hell in a Cell with like 5 other dudes. Like he was in the Hell in a Cell with Rikishi, Triple H, Stone Cold, The Rock, and Undertaker. And when you thought there was no chance for him to win, he found a way to win. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's a salute to Tay Rock's consistency and his ability to like just be relentless and find a way to win. But on Mike P's end, though, he got to find a way to maximize his style and make it work for what he needs to make it work for. So
I agree. I agree. And you know, I will acknowledge the tribal chief that Tay Rock is while we talking about wrestling. But you know, I'm gonna say this. Rock is the epitome of consistency. Rock is has been incredible in terms of staying outside, giving opportunities, showing up every time he's booked. I gotta salute everything Tay Rock has done. He is the GOAT. He is the logo of battle rap to me. Like I don't think anyone is as consistent as Tay Rock. And where I strive to be that consistent in other things I do in my life. And I don't think I've reached that level of consistency. Like Rock is just incredible. And I salute him for taking this battle as well, because he could have taken anybody for real. But knowing how important this battle is for Mike, and also being willing to take that risk too, because we're saying how incredible Tay Rock is, but this is also a fight for Tay Rock, because Mike has those moments in his career where he washes his opponents. If you're not careful, if Tay Rock come in there playing, Mike could win this too. So I'm not gonna act like Mike can't win it. And I would also
yeah,
add that Mike should be studying that Chef Trez performance against
yeah,
Rock. If
yep,
there's anything to study, really
yep.
study
That
that.
was the one.
That was the
That,
one.
that was the
You
one.
know, he figured it out. But so I'm hyped for this battle. I'm happy for Mike that he got this battle. I'm appreciative of Tay Rock for giving Mike the shot. I think this is a great headliner. And in closing, I want to talk about how these outside cards, they seem to be hyper focused on good battles versus big names versus
Yeah,
you know, it just seems like it's a return to form in terms of giving us good battles without worrying about tiers and names.
yeah.
How do you feel about these outside cards? I loved outside five. I had it as top three card of 2025.
I think it follows the theme. I think it follows
Mhm.
the theme of just catching wreck. And then realistically, when you look at the first initial outside, with I think the first initial one was with Tay Rock and Snake Eyes. That was just a matter
Mhm.
of like let's just get it, let's just get this out the way. Like
Yeah.
let's go. Like
Let's
I
rock.
like that
Yep.
energy because that's how battle rap should be. It's like
Hmm.
I want to battle, you want to battle. Let's get this out the way. Forget the
Hmm.
politics. Forget all this extra stuff. I rap better than you, so let's
Yeah.
battle. I
Yeah.
love that concept. I also love the fact that between that and Nexus, because I kind of feel like they have the similar format or whatever. I love
Hmm.
the fact that usually with those battles, right, there's usually call outs at the end for, the upcoming matchups and whatnot. I just like how everything is sequenced. So I love the energy
Agreed.
behind these outside cards, 100%.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, with that said, Lang, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. You know, when these cards of the dope pop out, I'm definitely gonna be hitting your line, trying to, you know what I'm saying, assess it. We gave our predictions. I hope the battlers take heed and make the necessary adjustments. I'm looking forward to this card. January 24th. Any last words before we get out of here, Lang?
Man, 2026 looking like it's shaping up to be something special. I mean, I'm excited. I'm very very excited. Now, I will say, I'll say that for another episode.
Ah!
I'll say that for another episode. But I really do like this card. I think this card is extremely balanced. I think I told you this off cam. I think the balance between like the different type of stylistic matchups,
Mhm.
the stakes and whatnot, is a very huge deal. And I like the fact that a lot of new talent is on this card. And especially because of how much people have been complaining about. We need new stars. We need new talents. These are the cards that need to get promoted for that to happen. So I'm looking forward to this card.
Facts. We'll circle back when volume gets announced.
100%. 100%.
God bless, Lane.
All right, you have a good one.
Peace.